What's up? It's your boy Andre Gunter, and this is the Foreigner Podcast, the podcast that you're listening to right now, the podcast that is all about student exchange programs, going on an exchange, living in a different culture, maybe being a host family and hosting someone from a different culture home in your house or your flat or wherever you live and showing them your culture. So to summarize it all up, this podcast is all on international and intercultural exchange and communication. Yes, great thing. So, today I am here to speak to you again. And yeah, I don't have a script again because I didn't get to do it. I was really stressed out this week as well. Perks of being a student, you gotta work all the time. But that shouldn't be a problem since I'm going to be talking about something which I just did today. Yeah, so you might wonder what might that be. I mean, my exchange has been over now for almost seven or 8 months. So what could I be doing that is related to being an exchange student? And since it is March, the 1st of March. Yeah, the 1st of March. What could this be that I talk about? Well, I mean, it couldn't be the preparations because that's a little bit too early, but yeah. You see, what I did today was I was advertising the exchanges. So I went to different classes of my school from grades 8 to 9, every but two, which I'm going to do tomorrow. And I went there, and because we have an um, open door day, is that how it's called? So we have a day at our school where parents and future students can come to the school and look at it and get an impression and see what it's like and all the different um, groups I'd say involved in the school, as in not really the groups, but the like the classes. So like the French class and the Spanish class and the biology class and stuff, they will like showcase their arts or their science to the future students to make them interested and show how great that kind of the the kind of class or subject matter is represented in the school. And turns out I got to do my own room on exchanges from my organization. So I got an AFS room at my school, or exchange student room. And I mean, since we only sent away, I think no, I think we sent away one that wasn't with AFS, and the rest in the last year all went with AFS. So that's why I got to do it. And today and yesterday as well, I was going through the different classes 8 and 9, and telling them about my exchange. I was supported by my friend Louisa, who was already on this podcast. I think she was in episode 2 or something. So if you want to hear her perspective on the exchange and her scholarship that she got, the CBYX, or for Germans PPP, then go back to the second episode of this podcast and check it out there. But yeah, she supported me, or we did it together. I wouldn't say that she was supporting me or I was supporting her. We were equal partners, as it should be in any advertising group. We were going through the classes and telling them about, first of all, our experiences and different. We were telling them different arguments on why they should come to our room and get involved and in yeah informed more about the exchange and about the program which AFS and also other organizations are providing. And I want to talk a little bit about that because at first it felt kind of weird to do that. We both haven't received any training in salesmanship or whatever, so we were just doing it off the cold. And because we had a very wacky time schedule, we did it while we actually had to be at class. So we did it as fast as possible, and like in the first hour, we had four teachers which we had to go through. So we were really rushing through it. And the last teacher, I think we spent 20 minutes in that class just talking with the teacher and the students and completely forgetting about time. So I want to just get a little bit into all of that. And then, of course, there will also be an item of the episode and a quote of the episode. So with that structure going forward, I want to already, well, what means already? We're already 5 minutes in. So I want to now finally come to officially starting the episode, even though since I don't have a script today, it's wacky again, just as last episode. And as last episode, and this time, if you kind of prefer the more structured way with a clear script that I'm going through, or if you prefer the kind of wacky and just loose way of me sitting in my chair. I have a fan here. Maybe you can hear. That's my chair, which I'm just opening and closing. Not my chair, my fan, which I'm opening and closing all the time because I like to play with things in my head. So if you prefer the more strict way, then send me an email and tell me, or write a comment on my page. And if you prefer um, just me being myself and just talking right from off my soul, then also send me an email about that. The email address that you can send it to is thefornerpodcast@gmail.com. I would really appreciate it if you could give me your opinion, since I want to make this podcast a pleasurable and educating podcast for you. And I want to make it one of them for me. So I want to find the median of what I feel comfortable doing and what you feel comfortable listening to, and therefore I need your opinion. So if you're a listener to this right now and you feel like, hey, Andre should do whatever, then off with an email you go and tell me. But that's enough of that advertisement. The only advertisement I don't want to give right now, just teasing. You know the thing with iTunes and the stars that you can give, like the reviews? It would be cool if you gave me 5 stars. But if you don't want to do that, then it's okay too, because this is all voluntary. This podcast is free. My service is all free, and it's all voluntary. You do not have to listen to me. But if you do, and if you enjoy it, then let me know, because that fuels me and gives me more reason and more happiness when I do it, when I actually know that I can help people and make people feel better about their experiences that they had or that they're going to face. But now let's finally get into it. I want to talk about the advertising today. And as I already said, we went through different classes and talked with the teachers and the students. So that's basically the whole frame that we did in. I was running through the school for the past 5 days trying to find teachers. So I got the schedules from the classes which I wanted to visit and asked the teachers that were applicable, so that had classes with the class in the correct time frame, which I had Timon and Louisa. I ran through all the schoolhouse trying to find those teachers, and since we don't have assigned rooms to each teacher like they have in America. Teachers also switch, so students and teachers switch rooms all the time. That was really difficult to find them. But I did. I found them and I talked to them about me wanting to present to the students, and nobody said no. So all of them were cool with me and Luisa coming in for 5 to 10 minutes and just talking to the students real quick and telling them what this whole thing was about and what the next changes and stuff like that. So that's what we basically did, and that's the frame that I had in Germany. I don't know if it's any different in the other countries that you might be listening from, but always um, try to have it communicated as good as possible. Same with my room, which I'm doing. I talked about it with my school directors, so everyone knows and everyone's cool. That's the most important thing. If you want to advertise something like we did, and I'm gonna say it as blatantly as possible, this was advertisement. It was for nothing but to advertise AFS in my school. And since that's lousy enough, you should at least try to be everyone involved in it, be cool with it. So that's what I did, and that's what luckily happened. So then we went into the classes and just I think we took the most chill approach to it as possible. Like we weren't standing in front of them with a paper and reading off a page or anything. We didn't have any paper. Louisa just brought her graduation cap as a little prop, and I had my hoodie from my school. So that were our only props. We didn't have a PowerPoint present prepared or anything to present to the students. We were just, yeah, we were just feeling ourselves and saying whatever we felt like saying. We had a really basic structure, like telling them what an exchange is, what AFS is, and why it's important, and a little bit about the options. So we just said that you can go to over 70 countries from Germany with AFS, and that there are different costs for different countries. So if you want to go to a more expensive country like Australia, of course you have to pay more, as if you wanted to go to a country like the Czech Republic, which is bordering to Germany, and that's already because of the flight. So yeah, that's what the general structure um, of our little advertising presentation was, even though it wasn't really a presentation. But yeah, that's what we did. And if you feel like you want to do that as well, I'm not sure if I can 100%ly. Is that even an adverb? I don't know. If you can rely on that 100%, because likely students will want more, but like they maybe want it more structured and handouts and stuff like that. But I didn't have I didn't have the time, and Luisa didn't either, to prepare all of that. We didn't even know that we could do um, the presentations for today until yesterday. So yesterday I was running through the school trying to find teachers for our presentation today. And that in mind, there was just no way to really prepare any big presentation, especially because the classes switched. Like we had classes from grade 8 to 9, and they all have a different social dynamic. So we had to kind of adjust to that as well. And we were, yeah, we, as I said, we were pretty chill about it, just talking about it like casuals would, with a lot of anglicisms in our German language, and trying to be on level with the teenage students. And I mean, since they are 1 or 2 or 3 years younger than us, we could still connect with them, and that's likely a very important thing as well, because the emotions and the facts that you have to deliver to them are just basically the emotions that you had when you were in exchange. Like that's what actually motivates people, and that's what we felt like motivated them as well. We could see in their faces when we said, oh yeah, if you go to the Czech Republic, um it will be cheaper than if you go to Australia. Nobody really cared about that. But when we were talking about the times that we had and the memories we made and the things that improved in our lives because our exchange, we felt the passion for it, because we are passionate. And if you feel passionate presenting something, talking about something, then the audience will feel your passion and likely reciprocate it, or at least feel pretty good about it, and they will listen to you more closely and more carefully, and maybe think about what you say more than if you were just standing there and talking like this and telling them that they can go to the USA and live there for a year. You see, that's the same thing in my podcast. Like if I talk like I talk right now, so with my passion, because I'm really passionate about it, I try to actually talk with all the passion. Oops, I just dropped my fan. With all the passion that I have, and I hope that you can feel my passion and that you see how important all this exchange thing is for me. Why I do this work and why I upload every week with no stop until yet. I'm gonna knock at wood. Okay, so with that being said, you need to deliver your passion. If you're not passionate about something, then you can't sell it. That's a quote which I don't know who it is from, but I heard it somewhere in some podcast. Great thing if you don't know the sources of your quotes. But anyway, this is what I wanted to deliver to you at first, to be passionate about it. And if you present something, then let them feel your passion, and let them feel that you actually cared about it. And it's not a problem if you keep talking and talking and talking and just flooding all the words and memories out there, as long as you know when to stop when your audience is not caring anymore. But they need to know that this is what made you so passionate, that the product you're advertising, so the exchange, is what made you so passionate that you now give up your free time in order to go to this class and tell them about it because you think it's so important. And that is the important thing. And I hope that we were able to deliver that, and that we were able to um, yeah, show our passion, because we both are really passionate about it. Otherwise, we wouldn't have done it, and otherwise, I wouldn't have done all the stress with planning that room, getting all the info material, planning the people that are gonna be there. Like we have our Russian and Spanish exchange students from the school there, so this was a lot of organizing for me as well, and I would almost compare it to activism. Like it was really a lot of work, and it still is, but I do this because I'm passionate about it. And I hope that you one day will be too, and that you can advertise the exchange with whatever organization you are or were with. But the important thing is not that everyone goes with AFS or any other organizations like EF or um, travel travel internationally or something like that. I don't know what all of the other organizations are called, YFU and stuff like that. There are lots of other organizations. That's not the important thing that they go with one specifically. The important thing is that they go on an exchange, because that is the important part. That is what preserves our peace. That we have intercultural and international communications, that people talk to each other, make relations, maybe live there for a while, make bonds, form bonds that bring our world closer together. Because if we are close to each other, if we have friends everywhere, we will not support wars against those countries or whatever. So I'm already getting too philosophically again. So please forgive me that. But you see what I'm talking about. Like I'm already getting passionate again, and I'm already letting out all my passion on the exchange, which is what I try to use for my presentations in the classes. But now let's go away from the point of being passionate, and now let's go to how to actually talk, I'd say. Or not how to talk. I mean, you've got a mouth and you should know how to talk. The important thing is how to react to your audience. Like we had students that weren't listening at all, or that were talking to each other, and that was a pretty bummer, because they were like keeping the other students from listening to us, and that's not a cool thing. So what we could do, other than it being a teacher, so like, because we aren't teachers, we can't just tell them to go out of the room or whatever, or we can't go harshly at them. But it was enough to just say, oh yeah, you, and luckily I knew the kid's name, you're talking right now as if you already know that. That's great. So what country do you want to go to? So that question was something that brought them out of concept that much that from now on they kept listening. That is the thing that works. And asking questions is also a great way to get some reaction from the students and get to know what their thoughts on it are. So you can ask questions like, who has ever heard of exchange? And then some hands go up, and oh, I see, you need to know more about it. Well, let me tell you about it because I did it, or stuff like that. So don't make it a monologue of you just trying to tell everything. And that's kind of the mistake that we did. We didn't ask too many questions. We were just talking because we were scared for our time. Like we had to get to different students, to different classes, but that's not an excuse. I'm sorry, that's a fail of ours. Luckily, we have two or three more classes, or I have two or three more classes which I have to go to tomorrow, so I can test that there. But an interactive way is always good, and I did that at one or two classes, and it was a real benefit. I did that at the end. Sadly, I didn't find out about that on the front, or I didn't think about it at the beginning of my presentation. But um, yeah, as I said, being interactive and just having the students that you're talking to involved, and having them actually think about the thing that you're advertising is important, because that's what they need to do. They need to imagine themselves in the position of an exchange student, and it may be host family, or just being on an exchange and in a different culture. They have to envision that, and they have to convince themselves, or they have to yeah, get clear with themselves that this is a thing that they would want to do. And so then they will hopefully come to my room on Saturday, when our open school hall thing, whatever is, where everyone can come to the school. So when that happens, I hope to see lots of their faces again and tell them more about our exchange. So, as I said, questions, passion, being on a level with the kids is important, and also um, just being honest. Like if you lie to them, like if you say lies like, "Oh yeah, everyone gets a scholarship," but not everyone does get a scholarship, then that's also not cool because by the time that they get a little bit more informed, then they will find out that you lied to them, and that's going to be much worse than if it is a slow start on the process of them going abroad, or if it's a slow start on the process of getting them informed and getting them wanting to go abroad. If that's even the right thing to say, because someone who doesn't want to go abroad also shouldn't go abroad, because going abroad is very much connected to wanting it yourself and changing yourself and adapting to the new situations. But that is task or topic of another episode. So I don't want to go into what an exchange is about now and what skills you should need. But I hope what I'm trying to tell you is getting over to you. Like as I said, be interactive, be social with them, and be on a level with them. Be honest. And what was the fourth thing? Um, oh, God damn it, I forgot it. Being honest, being open. Open is always important. Being open is always important. Being honest. Oh my God, you know that better. Oh yeah, being passionate. That's what it is about. I'm sorry. Oh my God. Oh my God. That is embarrassing. Yeah, being passionate. That was such a basic thing for me to say. I didn't even think of it because that was. Oh no, I'm sorry. I'm just finding excuses. I'm sorry. My mistake. Moving on. Now, if you have any more questions to the advertising thing or anything that you can contact your people from your chapter or from your organization, and they will likely help you with that. I did it as well, and I was just talking a little bit to my area representatives in the region and getting some advice from them, but that was not something which sharing here would make sense. It was more specific to me as a person and on my appearance and me talking like because I'm a very flamboyant person at times and I like to talk a lot. They told me to not always talk that much and let the students think about what I just said without just texting like a machine gun at them and just throwing out words and information at them without even them having the chance to process it. So if that's one of your problems as well, then keep that in mind there too. But that's not what I'm going to talk about today anymore because I think we're pretty much done with the part of me talking about my experience. I mean, the kids were great. Just it happened just a very few times that they weren't listening, so they were mostly generally interested in the exchanges. They sadly didn't ask any questions at the end, but that could also be because we explained everything so good. Likely isn't, but they were at least decent enough and polite enough to not talk, except from that one kid or those two kids. Since in talking, there's always two people involved, but you know what I mean. Um, they were polite enough to not talk and to not interrupt us, so I give them much props because for eighth graders, for example, that's not always a given. Now, moving on, now let's get to the quote of the episode. And today I have a famous writer, an American, I think. Yeah, Oscar Wilde is an American, right? Is he? So from Oscar Wilde, we have the quote: "To live is the rarest thing in the world. Most people exist. That is all." And that's a thing which I find really, really interesting because it makes a difference between living, like actually living, and existing, which is just being there and just not caring or just following your everyday schedule. Wake up, go to work, come home, watch TV, go to bed, and next day do the same thing. Because there's more to life than that. For example, living in a different country, in a different culture, meeting different people, going on an exchange, teaching students about exchanges, doing things that actually mean something. And of course, here you have to define for yourself what is living. Is living to spend a lot of money um, on expensive things because then you can feel like you made it in the world, or is living doing something that's meaningful? For me, that is living. I want to do something that makes a change. I want to be a change. And that inspired by the quote from Mahatma Gandhi, which we already had, be the change that you wish in the world. No, be the change that you wish to see in the world and yourself. Wait, I'll Google it real quick. I think I still got it open. Nope, I do not. Um, be the change that you wish to see in the world. That's it. And that is a thing which I would always subscribe to, because that's like my driving principle as well. As I said, I'm really stressed all the time and really um I'm really connected in lots of work, and I have a lot of work to do. I do not have a lot of free time at all in my life, which is for a 10th grader in school not that much of a common thing, but I do it because I feel like that I can make a change in the world, and that I can make the world a better place. So if that is your motivation, that is what makes you live, then do that. That's what Wilde tries to tell us, that living is doing something meaningful and doing something that actually gives you happiness, and not just following the straight path that is given to you by other people, or especially the capitalists telling you that the only good goal to achieve in life is wealth, and um, that you can achieve it by just working hard enough and not being lazy, because that's not the entire truth, and that's not what our life is about. So, yeah, I would like if you could give me any feedback on that quote in particular, because I find it really interesting and I would love to see how you understand it. So, again, the quote is, wait, let me pull it up. There it is. To live is the rarest thing in the world. Most people exist. That is all. By Oscar Wilde. So, the item of the episode is something that we'll get to just in a second, because first we got to get to our to my email address again, so you can send your answers somewhere. It's theforeignerpodcast@gmail.com. Everything's small, so no caps in there, just small, no capital letter. With that being said, now we can get to the item of the episode. So I got some sunglasses, some pilot sunglasses, but not some pilot glasses like you would know them, just the regular ones. No, these are interconnected, so they have one glass. And there are, of course, the big glass parts for the eyes, but they're connected um by one string of glass, I'd say, going over your nose. And that's pretty sick. You've got the picture on my website, so go there to theforeignerpodcast.com. Check it out. It's really cool. And that is connected to a story of mine. I adore sunglasses. I think sunglasses are extremely cool, and I have uh, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 pairs of sunglasses right now hanging behind me, and I'm planning on getting more, especially one of those sunglasses once I have more money to my free use, and once there are more special offers to get more sunglasses for less price, because I love sunglasses so much. Like when I was looking for souvenirs from the US, guess what I bought? Sunglasses. You're dang right. Because I love sunglasses. I think they're amazing. Okay. I think sunglasses are great. So if you think sunglasses are great as well, or if you live in a sunny region, then check out the sunglasses I recommend as the item of the episode, because they're lit. They're really lit. But that should be it for the item of the episode as well. And with that, we are through the episode. Again, as always, please help me grow. Give me positive reviews. Show me to your other exchange student or wannabe exchange student friends. And help me spread the word about the whole thing that is exchange programs. And help us as a community to make more people go abroad. Give more people the chance to do that in order to pass peace forward, as AFS campaign said it. We want to deliver peace by delivering people from one side of the world to another. And with that being said, I thank you very much for listening to this episode again. See you next week.